I'm Catriona Forrest. I lead the one-year postgraduate Masters in Media Communications and International Journalism at the University of Glasgow. I'm going to introduce this presentation, then I'll hand over to my co-organisers, Ruth, Fletcher and Erdem, Avsar, and then I'll come back and conclude with some final thoughts. The prototype news day at the Hunterian was designed to give our students hands-on news gathering experience, developing their skills and confidence in a supportive, low-risk environment. The event supported practical learning from the MCIG programme, aligning our intended learning objectives, or ILOs, and reflecting real news industry principles, as well as highlighting graduate attributes. In the programme, our MCIG programme is rooted in the research of the Glasgow University Media Group. So alongside core media sociology courses, students learn the basics of news storytelling through core courses writing news or producing news. For assignments, students work in groups to create newspapers or a news video, and then reflect on this experience as an individual. So experiential learning, such as these simulated news crews, is central to our teaching already, and this is the norm rather than the exception in journalism education. So we refer to the work of Evans, Beard, Cartwright and others, and you can see this in the references at the end for work already going on in this field. The News Day addressed several challenges. Finding suitable space for practical work with changing cohorts each year, catering to the diverse needs and aspirations of 104 students from 16 nationalities, some with media expertise and some with none. Student feedback had asked us for more practice in interview skills and making the initial contact with contributors. And also scalability was key here, finding a space that we could scale up to meet dynamic cohort sizes and allow us to host meaningful learning events for smaller or larger groups at scale. To do this event, we called for contributors from across the university, and we started with our own subject group, Media, Culture and Society, and we also contacted some key contacts who participated. They all participated voluntarily, and without these volunteers, this event would not have been possible. So thank you, everyone. International journalism education experts came from our partner institution at the Johannes Gutenberg University in Mainz, their journalism school, and also from Södertörn University in Stockholm. They provided support, giving on-the-spot tips, and they also attended a debrief with students the following day, and this helped scaffold the learning further and give a perspective from international practice. It was excellent. So the students were tasked with creating a 1-minute portfolio of a person, speaking about their relationship with a Hunterian. Students had to gather informed consent, film establishing shots and cutaways, or record an interview. The contributors were briefed not to coach or instruct during the interview, but they were given guidance on providing formative feedback afterwards. They had a list of tips.
When Catriona first mentioned the idea of a news day, I absolutely right away jumped at the idea. It's really proved to be an incredible opportunity to challenge the traditional boundaries of journalism education, getting the students to think beyond the classroom and into the complexities of reporting in a space like the Hunterian was really, really extraordinary. One of the highlights was to see how students sort of walked into space as strangers. So they didn't know maybe much about the space. They didn't know the practicalities. So questions like, where are the echoey bits? So where to actually record the sound, where to leave their clipboard. So all those seemingly tiny things, they didn't have much idea. But what was really lovely was that they left the space as active storytellers. So it's such a lovely trajectory from the unknown and the uncertain and the unfamiliar to something like, let's go upstairs and film it there because the backlight is just really beautiful there. I had the opportunity and the privilege to closely witness how this event gave them such a lovely confidence boost. So yeah, the idea of creating a sense of familiarity is also about safety and emotional well-being. So journalistic practice, even in its lowest risk forms, inherently involves engaging with others, and you depend on human presence.
At the Hunterian, we run a variety of work-related learning programs, and we're always keen to promote, as well as the kind of discipline development or the subject knowledge, we're also keen to promote graduate attributes that people gain from learning in a work-based environment. In this one event, we could certainly see examples of students developing some of those graduate attributes. I really enjoyed participating in the News Day at the Hunterian. As one of 2 museum professionals that was available on the day to be interviewed by the students, it was really rewarding to see how seriously the students took it and how much they enjoyed being in the space. And it was also really valuable to see real-time reflection and development in operation. There was quite a range of confidence and prior experience, as is to be expected with a group of students so that large. And thanks to the repeat interviewing that took place because of the way the event was structured, you could definitely see new skills being developed and reflections being acted on, immediate feedback from the museum and journalism professionals being acted on to improve the next time round.
We evaluated the event by gathering feedback from staff, from our volunteers and from our students, and students had a pre and a post-event questionnaire. This has helped us assess the event's effectiveness and look for areas which could be improved. The evaluation included questions about organisation, students' engagement, and the overall learning experience. So thinking about some challenges and adaptations we've made, balancing timing was key. Balancing busy schedules and commitments has been really challenging. We negotiated a reading week across some core courses that would help increase students' participation, but timing remained a critical factor in this. Managing multiple deadlines for students is tricky, and at this point of the year, students are under a lot of pressure. So for next year, we're considering creating separate credit-bearing courses for such events to help integrate them into the curriculum, including options for considering such as Curriculum for Life, which could be a truly interdisciplinary experience. Logistics was tough. It ended up being a production. Coordinating commitments, spaces and dates and funding added to the complexity and held up some of our elements, including what was key, our communication to students and to our contributors. So we've scheduled a second phase of this. We're going to do this again next year, but we're going to move the event a week later in the teaching semester, and that will allow a week more of learning for the students before the event. Because we already know about the timing and what we can say, we're going to be able to provide full advance warning to students so they can have this date in their diary for next year, and that will help us improve the preparation and participation. Oh, I have to say it was really good this year. Students initially approached us during the event to interview our familiar faces, so they'd come to myself and my colleagues who they already knew from our teaching teams, and that helped them gain confidence before approaching strangers. That wasn't our plan. But this approach actually proved beneficial, and we'll encourage it in future events. We'll expect this. And a final thing was that we missed the ethics approval deadline for our evaluations, but we plan to adapt the feedback, and we hope to get approval for future research, so we're not going to give up. So despite the timing challenges and the other logistical challenges, this prototype of the News Day was really well received. And in general feedback from all participants was that it was an extremely enjoyable learning experience. It was one of the most collaborative working experiences of my working life. I loved every minute of it. The event has raised the programme's profile and provided insights for all of our stakeholders and our international partners, as well as us, into the highs and lows of teaching practical journalism skills to a large enrolment, diverse cohort. In our teaching, we've seen the students taking a leap forward in their practice and their confidence. We also, as an organisation team, we now have a set of documentation and plans which we can adapt for next year, and we have a date set for next year already. It was really enjoyable, which is key. We're like to welcome anybody interested in running a similar event to join our question and answer session as part of this conference, or just get in touch with us directly. We'd love to speak to you. So do get in touch if you'd like to talk about what we've done here. I'd like to thank everybody who made this event possible. A lot of people took a lot of time out of their busy schedules, and they showed commitment to the students' learning experience. They really did show up for the students.